Pardon? Should we share?
Okay, now we'd like to start post-match press conference for Team England. We are now here with Coach Phil Neville. Thank you for coming. Before starting the press conference, please make sure your mobile phone is turned off or change your tone in silent mode. For the translation, we will have English is French for today's press conference. I believe you already get the app, so you know you are very familiar with the translation system. So if you have questions, please raise your hand with the microphone, and then once you get the microphone, please raise a hand. And please say which language you will speak, and then introduce yourself, and then of course ask the question. So let's start. Yes, gentleman with green polo shirts. Yes, microphone is coming.
Phil, you couldn't have given any more as a team. What are your reactions to this? And can you explain, given what you said the other day about Nikita, why Steph was asked to take such a huge responsibility?
She was the best penalty taker on the pitch when we won the penalty. We obviously couldn't speak about this probably before the games, but for 6 months now we've probably gone into the most in-depth practice, analysis, process that probably any team's probably gone into. And we missed three goals at the World Cup and from penalties, but there is a certain process that we've been to that in terms of penalties scored in training, success rate in training, success rate in which area they're going to go to. Nikita was obviously our number one penalty taker, and then obviously she missed two goals, and we spoke to Nikita, we spoke to the team, and we agreed that the next best penalty taker on the pitch would take the penalty, and that through process of what we've done over the last 6 months on the field at the time was Steph Orton. It wasn't just by chance. It wasn't just before the game, Steph, you're taking a penalty. It was 6 months of probably 100 to 150 penalties that the team have took, and you score some and you miss some, and that's football.
Yes, next.
Kieran Pender, question in English from The Guardian. Phil, you now need to head to Nice.
Where are we?
Coach, can you please?
Yeah, I couldn't see him though.
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
Sponsors not happy.
You now need to head to Nice.
Thank you.
And motivate the team. You now need to head to Nice and motivate the team for the third place match. How hard is that after what happened tonight and the disappointment?
I think we'll have to allow 24 to 48 hours for this to sink in, for them to get over the disappointment. I've no words that I can say to them tonight will make them feel better. But elite sport, being at the top of the world in terms of what we are, in terms of our ranking, means that on Saturday in Nice we've got to go out there and we've got to produce a performance. That is elite sport. 3 days later you've got to go again. It'll tell me a lot about what my players are about. And I've got to say, before the game, it was the furthest thing from my mind going back down to Nice. But now I've moved on from this already, and now I'm looking forward to Saturday's game to see, because we've got a 3-year plan, and I'll see on Saturday the attitude, the concentration, the commitment of my players, and they won't let me down because they never have.
Yes, next question.
Sean Ingle, Guardian and English. Phil, it was a fantastic performance, particularly in that second half. You said the other day that winning was everything. Can you take any consolation for having won over sort of hearts and minds of so many people back home with this performance, or is it basically not at this stage?
No, not really. You know, I think that's for other people probably to enjoy. But it's about winning. It's about winning. I can't say to my players at the end, unlucky, because they don't want to hear that, because they wanted to win. I can't say to them, they're not listening probably to the words that I'm saying in terms of I'm proud of them. They left their hearts and souls on the pitch. That's white noise to them, because they wanted to win. And that tells me that we are closer than we've ever been, because maybe in the past we've probably accepted semi-final. Yes, we're happy we're going home, you know, and we'll get lots of plaudits. But my players don't want to hear that anymore. They're sick of it, and so am I. We came here to win, and we didn't do that. And you know what? That's that sport for you. Good luck to America. I think they showed tonight that they know what it takes to win games of football. The game management at the end, I thought, was spectacular. They came at us in the first 15 minutes, out the traps. We backed off too much, and then after 15 minutes, I knew that we were in the game because they tired, and we started to pass the ball well. And I've got to say, it was the most enthralling 90 minutes that I've ever been involved in as a manager. It's where my players want to be, and it's where I want to be. And we are knocking on the door now.
Hi,
Yes.
question in English, Rob Harris from Associated Press. What was the message you had when you had the players in a huddle afterwards? I meant some of them seemed to be quite
Yeah, I didn't want to see tears. I didn't want to see tears. You lose, but I thought that the way we lost was exactly the way I wanted us to play. I said to my staff before the game, just before the game, I said, win, lose or draw, I want us to play a certain style. I said that to you guys. I've been saying it for 18 months. And the courage that they had to play football and to keep going and to battle, they left everything out there with no regrets. With no regrets, we lost the game. No regrets. We've come to the World Cup and we've given it our absolute all. And that's what I said to him. I didn't want to see tears. There should be smiles. We've had the best 46 days of our lives. We didn't want it to end, and it's not ended yet. We want to go on Saturday, beat Sweden or Holland. I think it's going to be Holland. My gut will be that Sweden will win, but who knows? And I just didn't want to see tears. I'm not that type of manager. The minute that the game finished, my first thought was, how do we win on Saturday? And my second thought was, how do we win Olympic gold? Because I was looking over at them, and that was my motivation, looking over at them and say, how do we win Olympic gold now? And then how do we win the Euros in 2021? I don't wallow. I won't go back to my room tonight and feel sorry for myself. It's now making us feel better. It's now making us be better and getting the next 2-3% that will make us one of the best teams in the world. The aim is for us to become the best, like America. We've still got a bit to go, but I won't stop until we get there.
Phil, commiserations first and foremost. Looking back over the last 18 months, obviously when you first came in, there was scepticism, criticism about the appointment, but you know, you have taken this team to a semi-final, you've got a chance of a medal, you've qualified for the Olympics. Can you still, looking back, be proud? And also now, how quickly do you start looking forward to what comes next?
I've started already. I was actually I was in my room this afternoon planning the next 2 years. It's the way I work. It's fast. Am I proud of the last 18 months? I've had the best 18 months of my career. Playing, Valencia, Man United, coaching. The last 18 months have given me something that my career has never given me. Standing in that arena tonight, looking at the way that my players played, just filled me with absolute joy and pride. We had a meeting today, and the players were smiling and happy and dancing, and we've got them playing to the tune that we want them to play to. And I'd like to think that people can see that we're heading in a direction that actually is pretty exciting. We've had bumps along the way. You know, Canada, Sweden defeat, Wales drawing at home in front of 25,000 at Wales. You know, these were bumps along the way, and we'll have many more bumps. But I think the bumps actually make you better. And my younger players are in there, and they're upset, but they've got another 10, 15 years left. And I've got senior players that are now probably thinking, maybe, is this it? But it won't be, because we've got a tight unit. We've got 13 players back at home that are all ready to challenge for the squad. And I keep saying the train's got to keep moving forward at a fast pace, because if it doesn't, we'll stand still. And if you stand still, people overtake you.
Thank you. Commiserations, Phil. Could you just please talk us through the changes that you made and perhaps just explain why things were a little bit different? Why, for example, it wasn't the right-hand side combo of Bronze and Paris in the first half, and how you felt that panned out in the first half when the USA seemed to dominate the first 45 minutes overall?
Yeah, well, first thing, Karen Barsley pulled a hamstring, so that's why Carly Telford played. I thought Carly was sensational. The way that she distributed from the back, I thought it looked like it was her arena. So I was really proud of Carly. Rachel Daly, Beth Mead have literally probably deserved to play in the last two games, and I knew that I needed energy in wide areas. And looking back at the She Believes game against America, in the first half in She Believes, we never got any balls into Fran Kirby. We got one pass in 45 minutes in that position that she played in. And then after 50 minutes, we got maybe 10, 15 balls into her. And most of our play was probably by runs forward, dribbles forward. So Nikita plays in that position for Man City, second top scorer in the league, just either side of Julie Ertz. We wanted her to exploit the space there. We had speed and energy in wide areas. The problem in the first half, I felt, was that we were too passive in our defending. We weren't aggressive. We weren't tackling. It's almost as if we had possession, then they had possession. It was like both teams were passing around mannequins. So we needed to be a little bit more aggressive. And we had a 10-minute period where I thought we got control of the game. And then we give a soft second goal away, which meant we were on the back foot. And what we said to them at half-time is that we had to shorten the passing to 5-10 yards rather than 20 yards. We have to shorten the passing to make them run and move. As soon as we did that, they then went deeper and deeper. They went to 5 at the back, and we started to control the game. But it was, I suppose, the disallowed goal and the penalty was the one. When we got the penalty, I turned to my bench and said, "We'll win this," because I thought they'd gone a little bit. But it wasn't to be. They deserved to win the game 2-1, and good luck to them. I'm a massive fan of Jill Ellis. I think she's a class act, and good luck to them in the final.
Phil T. Left, Martin Rogers, Fox Sports. The Americans have had more consistent success in women's football than any other team. The gap is obviously narrowing. You guys ran them close tonight, but yeah. What is it that for now kind of keeps them that little bit ahead of the pack?
Well, I think we've had 4 years of now consistently challenging Europe in the world. So I think my players deserve great credit for that, because as you know, the Germans, the French haven't done that. We've qualified 2 semi-finals in World Cups now. So I think that deserves a lot of plaudits. And we will get there. And we will get that. We're developing that. We're learning that. We're coaching that every single day. And it doesn't happen overnight. It takes time. And we'll get there. Thank you.
Thanks. Commiserations, Phil.
Rebecca.
I wonder how much you think grassroots opportunities play into the difference between a team like the USA and us, in terms of, in the USA, and you're a young girl, you can play a lot of football quite easily. You can play at a high level in a proper system quite young. In the UK, obviously we still hear stories of girls who can't play at all, have to drive 2 hours to training, have to play on boys' teams. How much is that going to maybe in the future give us the edge if we can rectify those grassroots discrepancies?
Well, I think we're working on that. I think we're making great strides at the FA with that. I think, but like I say, that takes 3, 4, 5 years, and I think we're maybe 12, 18 months into that now. So I've got to say, working with Mo Marley and the Pathway coaches now, we've got 8 players, I think, that over the next 2 years have got to force their way into my team for the Euros 2021s, and that will be through the investment that we're making, the coaching standards that are improving. And when you get moments like this, with what we've had the last 4 to 6 days, that will inspire, we're talking about inspiring, that will inspire the grassroots coaches, helpers, volunteers, the kids, to go out there, buy a pair of boots and play football. And it'll give everybody more confidence, the coaches to have more confidence. And, you know, there's a lot of an amazing work being done that at the moment probably isn't being recognised, but, you know what, in the next 2 to 3 years it will. And it's nothing but exciting, you know. We've got a 3-year project to win Euro 2021. And if we can keep replicating this type of euphoria, success and momentum, then you know what, we will be one of the most consistent nations in world football, and we're proving that already, and that's because of the investment of the FA.
We take last question. Yes.
Hey, Phil. Grant Wall, Sports Illustrated. After the last U.S. game, the coach of the France team said that playing the U.S. in a World Cup is very different than playing them in a friendly or at the She Believes Cup. I was wondering if you agreed with that at all, and if so, in what ways?
I don't agree. I think it was the same. We felt the same going into the game. We prepared the same, and they played this exactly the same way that they played in She Believes. I'd say that probably the only difference was the last 5 minutes when they played out the game in the corners and where probably in She Believes they wouldn't have done that. But we've had two unbelievable games against. If you're talking about elite women's senior football, the game in She Believes and the game today, I honestly thought before the game it was going to be 4-4 because of the way that we play, the way that they play. It was just going to be one of those boxing matches where nobody was going to give up. And at one point it nearly was, but I didn't see any difference, and I think there's a lot of respect now between both countries. You see that at the end when both sets of players hugged each other. Me and Jill have got a lot of respect for each other. They can now have our hotel, which is that was a joke. That was a joke. And they're the standard bearer. I played for a football club that won a lot in a long space of time, and we were the ones that everyone was wanting to catch. Eventually, teams caught Man United, and eventually we will catch the USA. But at the moment, they are the best team, and they're the best team because of that winning mentality. And I've just spoke to some of the USA officials, and we can't wait to get out to She Believes because it'll be another fantastic advert for women's football. We've seen the best World Cup ever. Not in terms of anything. It's just the quality on the field. Quality on the field of people seeing top footballers playing to the best of their ability. And at times I've stood on the touchline, watched it on TV, and admired other managers, other coaches, other players. But most of all, I've admired my own. Thanks, guys.
Thank you very much.
Three down. Good evening and welcome to the post-match press conference of Team USA. Congratulations to the USA to the final. Welcome to Jill Ellis. And also welcome Alex Morgan. She's the player of the match, presented by FIFA, by Visa, as selected by the fans on FIFA.com. As you know, when you have a question, please raise your hand and wait for the microphone and introduce yourself. So we start with the player of the match. The first question for Alex, please.
All right, you're done.
Yeah, good.
Congratulations, well played, fantastic match. Can you talk a little bit about how hard that match was? And secondly, back home, your tea celebration has garnered quite a lot of attention. Can you just talk us through that as well?
Yeah, wait, what was the first part of it? Oh, yeah. I felt like England obviously had a great game, and they were unlucky, and Ellis and I came out huge for us with the penalty save. In terms of the celebration, I wanted to keep it interesting, and I know Megan Rapinoe has the best celebration, so I had to try to step up this game, and I feel like this team just has had so much thrown at them and at us, and I feel like we didn't take the easy route to the final this game or this tournament, and that's the tea.
Next question.
English, Jeff Kassouf, Equalizer Soccer. Alex, 3 straight finals for this team, 3 straight finals for you. Can you put into context for you personally, even what this one's like, this journey's been like versus the other two, and just what it means to have this team back in a final a third straight time?
Yeah, it's pretty incredible. Each tournament for me has given me something different, and I've looked at it through a different lens. Obviously, I have just a greater role being a captain on this team and leading this team in a different way. So for me, it's just so great. I just saw all my teammates being so emotional after the game, and just knowing how much it means to each of us, and doing it together, and having the players that came in like Lindsey Horan and Kristen Preston step up so immensely. This game was great to see. So I think we've put so much into this journey together, and now we have one more game to close it out. So we're happy to continue going on this journey together.
So the last question for Alex in the middle, the woman with the... Yeah.
Hello, Alex, again. I'm Emma from newspaper 10 in Honduras. There are two referees from my country, and today Melissa Pastrana was 4. So my question is about arbitration in general and the technology implementing in this World Cup. For example, as the penalty that was called in favor of England. What do you think about all that?
Well, I think we saw everything. We saw VAR, we saw a penalty, we saw a red card. It really had it all this game, and yeah, I haven't had a chance to look back at the game, so I don't know about the penalty or anything. But I will say that Melissa Nair was incredible tonight, and she had amazing saves, and ending up with the win tonight. I mean, can't be too mad about the way the game went. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Alex Morgan. So now the first question for the coach, please.
Hi, Netta from Haaretz newspaper. I think the question we all want to ask, and I'll be the one to ask it, is why Megan Rapinoe didn't play this match?
Yeah, Megan's got a slight strain to her hamstring, so wasn't available today. Obviously, I feel we have a really good deep bench, and called upon other players, and I think they did a fantastic job. But hamstring strain.
Doug McIntyre, Yahoo Sports. Jill, why all the secrecy before with Megan not answering why she was injured before the game? And what did you make of the performance of the player that replaced her, Kristen Press?
Yeah, I thought Pressy did fantastic. There was an outside chance that Pino could take a penalty. So thereby, we didn't, want to sort of extend ourselves more than we had to in terms of we gave our starting 11 when we needed to. I think every coach, wants to keep their cards as close to their chest as possible. Obviously, fortunately, we didn't have to go to penalty kicks, but that was an option potentially. So, we just obviously didn't. I don't know about secrecy. We released release it when we normally release it. So. I think once she was warming up, you guys could figure it out,
The next one.
Hello, Coach. I'm from China, Xinhua News Agency. It was another hard game for you. We have to admit your teams have some challenges in the last 2 matches, but why your team always can be the winner? Do you have secrets?
What was the last part of the question?
How do we always come through on the challenges?
Well, I think I was asked this in the pregame, and I think every day our players in their training environment are put under pressure. It's uber competitive. It requires a lot of focus to even survive, the environment, the culture that's probably been around for 20 plus years. And so I think players that come into this environment, surviving and being able to push through hardship and compete, I think that's kind of, I'll say, bred into them, because they don't survive in our own environment if they don't have that internally. And then I think the opportunity to go out and play against an opponent, I agree. I think we've had less days of rest than probably anybody. We've had I told the players, I said, I think this is the hardest route to a final that a team's probably ever taken in terms of level of competition, maybe rankings, I don't know. But they find a way, and that's I think that I attribute that to just the mental strength of the culture of the environment, the history, the tradition, and also I think they're vetted in pressure, and I think that's, you saw that tonight. It's a resolve that's just fantastic, and games where, you have to maybe have that in terms of that's the card you go to. I mean, it's the World Cup finals, it's not Sunday soccer. So I think, like I've said, I think sometimes as a coach, you rely on players making sure that they have the mental capacity as well. And that's through creating a training environment that makes it as competitive.
Jill, question from Olof Lund, TV4 Sweden. Now you're through to the final.
Sorry, I don't know where you are. Where are you? Oh, there you go.
Who do you think you'll play in the final, and who do you want to play in the final?
I don't know who I will play, and I don't care who I want to play. It's going to be a great match. I think the Netherlands have had a great tournament, obviously coming off of Euros, tremendous, performances by them. And then Sweden, we obviously saw in group stage, and we know how good they are. So I think that's going to be an epic match tomorrow. I'm excited actually not to be on the sideline for that one. I'll get to watch that one. That'll be great. And, at the end of the day, it's whoever the team is in front of you that you play, right, in terms of that. I mean, obviously we played Sweden, but it's been quite a while since we played Netherlands, I think.
In this row?
Kieran Pender, question in English. Jill, your team has scored within the first 12 minutes during every match of this tournament. What do you attribute that to? Is it just luck, or are you making a conscious decision to attack really early?
I mean, our intent is to attack for 90 minutes. The reality of legs and, just fatigue a little bit, you can't do that. But, yeah, I mean, I think the mindset of the players is, I think you would ask the same question to every coach. Every coach would say, I want to get an early goal, and that's the purpose and the plan. So I think, the players come out and obviously want to, be as fresh as they can, press, keep a team in their end, create chances, create set pieces, and really try and get the upper hand early. But, the reality of these games in this level tournament is, the opponents also wants the same thing. And so I think we've come out and started very strong, but I also think we've gutted out some moments as well. And I think, you have to be able to play 90+ minutes to get that done.
Martin Lipton from The Sun in English. There were two really tight VAR calls. The offside is offside, fractionally, but offside, as you were asking for a video straight away. The penalty call was pretty tight. There was marginal contact.
Yep.
But your defender didn't attempt to play the ball. Did you fear that once the penalty was given, there might have been a red card because it was denying an obvious goal-scoring opportunity without playing the ball?
I mean, I haven't seen it. So, the reality is they got a PK. Are you asking me, should it have been a red card? I haven't seen it, but I doubt it's Becky Sauerbrunn who is. She's just an incredibly veteran defender, and I'm sure her attempt was to play the ball. So I haven't seen it, so I can't comment on that. It's hard to see when you're up in the stands for the game. Yeah.
On the first row, please.
Hi, Jill. Kevin Baxter, LA Times. Congratulations. When you talk about finding a way to win, you won one game with 2 penalty kicks. You won tonight by stopping a penalty kick. Is that the best definition of a winning mentality? And then the second question would be, you don't have Megan Rapinoe, one of the best players in the tournament, and Christian Press just steps up, scores a goal, sets up a goal.
Yeah, Pressy's been, she's fantastic. I've said this, I have multiple starters in multiple positions. You guys think of starting lineup, but when we talk to them and when we train, everybody gets the same information. Everybody gets the same attention and focus and detail from the coaching staff. Because, we even, I think, have a quote, and I'm paraphrasing now, but when that moment comes, play like you're going to make the difference. And Pressy for sure did that tonight. I thought she was great, stepped in, but I also knew and trusted that she was ready for the moment because of what I've seen in the past. And her training focus has been fantastic. So she's been really good. Finding a way to win. Yeah, I think finding a way to win is winning, straight up. It doesn't matter to me how. I think it's just, I think there's something to be said for always believing that you can win. If it takes 94 minutes, there's always believing that you can win. And I think we were prepared to go 120. I mean, we were prepared to go to penalty kicks. We look at the game as every moment is there to seize and try and get a result. So whatever it takes has kind of been the mentality and the mindset of this team. I think a big credit to this group of players is that they are incredibly tight. You can see that. They pull for each other. They are well invested in each other. They have each other's backs, and I think that also strengthens a team's ability to get it done collectively, 100%.
Second last.
Hi, question in English, Meg Linehan, The Athletic. Jill, building off of that, we've talked a lot throughout this tournament about the players coming in feeling like they had a target on their backs. We've had a lot of conversations about American arrogance. We had the hotel thing this week. How do you brush off some of this outside noise? How do you help the players build each other up through this tournament when so much is happening off the field and there's almost like this tone of policing around this team and their behavior?
I mean, I don't police my team. They can say what they want. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, again, I think it goes back to the mindset and the expectation. We are here for one thing. That's it. Not lawsuits, not silly trumped-up things, not external noise. We're here for one thing, and that's to win the trophy. So everything we talk about, everything we focus on is about that. And I think the other thing, and my press officer there who's been doing this a long time could probably attest to this, is it's always this way. Because when you are the premier team in the world in terms of you're world champions from before, you're always going to have noise, external stuff to deal with. But I think we just have a really unique way of just making sure that everything is about, the game plan, the preparation. I'm around the players a fair bit. And I don't hear any conversations. The conversations I hear are like, hey, when I'm playing this ball, I mean, they're really talking the game, and that's kind of exciting as a coach. So, I think they are professionals. That would be the best way to sum it up.
Now, the last question for the lady with the white shirt.
In English, Nancy Armour, USA Today. Jill, what did you see with Alyssa on the PK save? And speaking about noise, she has gotten a lot of criticism over the last few months. So how gratifying was it to see her step up in that moment?
I mean, again, I don't pay attention to anything you guys write or anyone what anyone thinks. So she's been my number one. And, there's the theme of the tournament, Dare to Shine, right? And so I said to my players the other day, we're going to add to that, Dare to Shine the brightest. So I just always put the brightest on that. And I said to her tonight, she shone tonight. I mean, she was the brightest. So I give her full credit. I think she's a tremendous person. People care about her. People have her back. I mean, I think people are just starting to see glimpses of what I see every day in training in terms of her capabilities. And I think, she's making her own mark and creating her own legacy. And I think that's fantastic. And hell of a save, for sure.
So cool. Thank you very much, Jill Ellis. Thank you very much for attending the press conference. Have a good night.
Thank you so much.